Tonight, the Oklahoma State Cowboys host the Aggies from Texas A&M. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Worrell, along with Norm Hitchkus. And you know, Norm, it's been a long time since the Texas Aggies have played a football game. You have to go back to August the 2nd when they were getting ready for Nebraska. And, of course, with Alabama postponing the game last weekend, it's been a long time for the Aggies, and Oklahoma State has been off.
3 weeks off for the Aggies. That's unheard of in a college football season. 2 weeks off for Oklahoma State. Aggies have been working 2 months, haven't played a home game yet.
But when the season started, Chris Osgood was number 3 on the depth chart. Tonight, he's number 1.
He gets his shot at being the starting quarterback tonight for the Aggies. Osgood, relieved in the LSU game, looked very good in the second half. The Aggie coaches would love to name him number 1, but none of the 3 they've given the shot to have stepped forward and taken the job, forced them to name him number 1. Tonight's Osgood's chance to be the Aggie starting quarterback.
No one has to step forward for Pat Jones. Mike Gundy is the man.
What a big playmaker Mike Gundy is. He's already the school's career leader in yards passing. He'll finish with good health, the Big 8 all-time leader in yards passing. He simply makes big play after big play after big play, a dangerous scrambler.
And for both of these schools, there's been some distractions off the football field.
Yeah, turmoil off the field. Jackie Sherrill's had to deal with the NCAA investigation that's now passed. He's had to deal with Hurricane Gilbert. Pat Jones is now dealing with the NCAA and has a date with them sometime after the season. But hey, those things take up Mondays and Wednesday afternoons and Fridays. This is Saturday. It's time to tee it up and play good football.
Pat Jones and Jackie Sherrill were together at Pittsburgh. They are no strangers. Sherrill's defense has been overworked in the first 2 games, but Pat Jones has an explosive offense.
Dykes is as good a receiver as there is in the country. Will become the all-time leading receiver in the history of the Big 8 here shortly. Mike Gundy has led the Big 8 in total offense, was newcomer of the year as a freshman 2 years ago. Very, very talented quarterback. Barry Sanders is a guy that probably people might not have heard quite as much about. He led the country in kickoffs returns a year ago. We played him about a third of the time at tailback behind Thurman Thomas. Opened the season last year and this year with a 100-yard kickoff return, rushed for 178 yards. Very explosive youngster. No, so we've got 3 of the more prominent skill players, I think, around.
I think what we have to do is play much better offensively. If we can carry the load offensively and take some pressure off our defense and let our defense be reckless, then we'll probably make some things happen defensively.
Norm, let's have the keys to winning now for both of these teams.
Let's go to the Aggie side of the ball first. They've got to sustain some drives offensively. Realize they never kept the ball for 2 minutes of the clock on any drive in the first 3 quarters against LSU. They got to keep Gundy from getting outside and killing them, and they got to stop that kick returning game of Oklahoma State. They can run you out of the game with their kick returns. On the other side of the ball, Oklahoma State's got to prevent key Aggie players from making huge plays. The wide receiver, Rod Harris, the running back, Darren Lewis, the big play people are back tonight. They got to pick up the blitzes of the linebackers Roper and Wallace to protect Gundy, and they got to take care of the ball. They fumbled 4 times against Miami of Ohio. That doesn't hurt you against that class opponent. It can be fatal against a team like the Aggies.
Stillwater, Oklahoma, sweater weather, 66 degrees. Thunderstorms blew through last night, but the sun is out. Northeast wind at 4 miles per hour and partly cloudy tonight. The officials, it's a split crew, and you see Mathis and Reimer and Ushek, Underwood, Leapsack. They're from the Big 8. Lewis and Weeks from the Southwest Conference. So you have a split crew in tonight's game. Texas A&M won the toss and deferred to the second half. OSU decided to receive, and why not, Norm? They've got the best return man in the country in Barry Sanders.
One of the key plays of the game starts right here. What will A&M do to try to keep the ball away from Barry Sanders?
There's Jackie Sherrill along with R.C. Slocum, his defensive coordinator. And Jackie looking on now as Scott Slater will be kicking off from his own 35-yard line, and here we go. It's a high kick, and they're trying to keep it away from Sanders. The up man will take it at the 15-yard line. Good coverage by the Aggies, and he's down at the 25, and that's Derek Ritchie. And the Oklahoma State receivers, very explosive. Barry Sanders taking up for Thurman Thomas.
Through the first 2 years of his college career, once out of every 9 times Sanders touches the ball, he scores, and you gotta like a tight end named Vance Weiss.
That offensive line, 5-year seniors for Oklahoma State.
Big, talented Wolf, the backdoor tackle, will be the one to pick up the blitzes of Batiste and Wallace to protect Gundy.
High formation. Gundy with a handoff. There's Sanders over left guard. He's up to the 30-yard line before he's brought down on the play by the Aggies. A gain of about 5. Basil Jackson on the tackle. The defense, Cole Gilbert. Price is the man.
The Aggies have missed the big play capability of people like O'Brien and Sadler that have graduated the last couple of years. They need this group, including the new starter Gilbert, to make some of those big plays.
High formation again. It'll be second down for Oklahoma State. Right now, Basil Jackson is in for Adam Bobb. At linebacker for A&M. Swing pass, Sanders at the 25. Running room across the 35 to the 40. A good gain, first down for Oklahoma State. Gary Jones, the strong safety for the Aggies, making the tackle. A gain of 12 on the play. The Aggies at linebacker, they think it's the best group in the country.
They will be severely tested tonight. Roper is supposed to be the All-American candidate, but Bill, he's only 5th on tackles through the first part of the season and really didn't show up much against LSU.
And the backs have been tested for A&M in early games with Nebraska and LSU.
Jones is playing with a soft cast on a fractured hand.
Gundy, handoff again. Sanders, running room, look out, could go. One man to beat, he does. Touchdown, Oklahoma State.
We told you that Sanders scores once every 9 times he touches the ball. Now you see how, Bill.
57-yard run. Great blocks by Mike Wolf, Chris Stanley, John Bovair, Jason Kidder, and Byron Woodard. The front line, we told you before the game, this is a senior offensive line for Oklahoma State. And Sanders and a long line of great running backs here at OSU.
They've had some dandies. Ernest Anderson, Terry Miller, Thurman Thomas, now a star for the Buffalo Bills.
Gary Blanchard will attempt the point after. The OSU offense exploding. 3 plays going 74 yards, and we are just underway at Stillwater, and OSU leads it 7-0 over A&M.
The blocks by the left side of the OSU line, Mike Wolf and Chris Stanley in particular, clearing the path. And once Sanders gets in the open, you know, Bill, Thurman Thomas was a wonderful runner here, but he didn't have Barry Sanders' full-out speed. Thomas would go 40 yards like that and get caught. Sanders has sprinter speed.
Watch the blocking again for OSU on the right side and left side. They're pulling. Good trap blocking.
The pull by Jason Kidder, the right guard, kicks out. Once Sanders clears and stiff arms, adios.
Alex Morris was the only Aggie in his way, and Morris got a mouthful from that stiff arm by Sanders.
That was a Barry Sanders drive. Total.
Shane Garrett will be the man deep for Texas A&M. The Aggies shocked here in the early going by OSU. The Cowboys are very proud, Norm, of their special teams.
They should be. Sanders heads them. They are also tough defending the special teams. And A&M normally would have Rod Harris in the deep back receiving position, but Harris has a shoulder harness to protect his injured shoulder, and he's not going to be the main man back there.
Keep an eye on Lamar Griggs standing right next to the kicker Blanchard as OSU will kick it off. And Shane Garrett at about the 4-yard line. Oh, what a hit at the 20. Fumble. Who's got it? Oklahoma State.
Mike Clark with a huge hit, and the Cowboys are in big business.
Bobby Rayner, the man on the bottom of the pile in the orange uniform for the Cowboys. Well, it looks like Olympic wrestling right now, but I guarantee you, there's the man with the football, Rayner for OSU. And boy, the Aggies are in deep trouble early in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Well, you know, the last thing Jackie Sherrill wanted was to send Chris Osgood onto the field to make his first start down more than 1 touchdown. And now that's a very real possibility. If you're an Aggie defensive team now, you say to yourself, 3, give up no more than 3.
Hartley, Dykes, Gerard Green, blanked out, I formation. Gundy going for it all. It's complete at the 2-yard line. What a catch by Hartley Dykes. He was defended by William Thomas and Mickey Washington, and Gundy threw it right in between the 2 defensive backs.
Actually, not a terribly good decision. I'm gone, number 11. Dykes always makes up a special towel for each game, and he was nearly gone there. Gundy throws this ball into double coverage under heavy pressure. But watch the play Dykes makes coming back for the ball. The Aggie defender overruns the ball, and Oklahoma State's a couple of yards away from a 2-touchdown lead.
Dykes coming off of an 8-catch performance in his first game. Flip back to the back. That's Mitch Nash with a touchdown from 2 yards out. And right now, the Aggies just cannot stop OSU. Boy, some blocks by Mike Wolf and Chris Stanley on the left side of the Cowboy line. Watch it again.
Wolf and Stanley again. They help clear the path for Sanders, and this is easy. Bill, even at your advancing age, I have a feeling you'd have gotten that one in.
I don't know, Norm. I've got shin splints just standing up here in the press box. Kerry Blanchard with his second extra point of the game.
1 minute and 41 seconds deep.
That is all we have played. 1:41, and the Cowboys are rejoicing, leading 14-0 over Texas A&M. Coming into this game, the Cowboys ranked as high as number 15 in the nation. And out on the West Coast, the Oklahoma Sooners are being beaten by USC, and the Cowboy fans are in a jubilant mood tonight because a win here could move the Cowboys ahead of their hated rival, the Oklahoma Sooners.
Yes, it could, and there were some other teams of acclaim today that had scares or were beaten around the country. Okie State figures they're in line to move up to near the top 10 if they win this game. Let's go to the A&M sideline for just a moment. The good news for the Aggies. There's 58 minutes and 19 seconds to go in the game. Pat Jones' team has a 14-point lead. But if you're A&M, the gospel is settle down, play football. There's loads of time to get back in the football game.
Jackie Sherrill right now has sent Rod Harris, his injured receiver, back deep. Shane Garrett had been back deep. But after being shaken up, and Garrett could have been shaken up badly on that last kick, so Rod Harris is the man. And remember, he's playing with that sore right shoulder that he injured in the Nebraska game. Oklahoma State Lightning here early. Kerry Blanchard will kick it to Harris again at the 4. He's got a little daylight and bursts through to the 25-yard line. Good return by Harris, 22 yards, and the tackle made by Vernon Brown for OSU. Now Harris will stay into the game for the Aggies. Osgood will be the quarterback. Darren Lewis and Robert Wilson in the backfield, I formation for A&M. First time the Aggies will go from the line of scrimmage, and there's Lewis, sweep left. Good pursuit by OSU as Lewis gets across the 30 to about the 31. Rod Smith, the junior out of Tulsa, was the first man to meet him, the free safety for OSU. Well, they call this the Great Wall of College Station. Coming up in a moment, let's look at the backs and receivers.
Lewis is just back. He's about 90% after a toe injury. We told you Harris is still hampered a bit by that sore shoulder. He's wearing a harness to protect it.
The Aggies split the backfield. Roll out Osgood. He's got a receiver, and it's complete at midfield to number 40, Gary Oliver, the sophomore out of Breckenridge, Texas. A very good play for the Aggies, good for 19 yards and an A&M first down. There is that big A&M front line.
Jerry Fontenot's a seasoned potential all-conference player. L.B. Moon's the only Oklahoman on the entire Aggie roster.
First down and 10 for Osgood and the Aggies. Darren Lewis. Tackling by the Cowboys, a gain of maybe 2 by Lewis. David Bailey leading the way, and he is the leader for this defensive line.
Oklahoma State plays a 3-4 defense, but the outside backers, Bailey and Jones, step up to be stand-up defensive ends. Bailey's a former tackle. It's moved outside. Very mobile, very versatile.
The linebacker, Sim Drain III.
What an outstanding player Sim Drain is. Probably the best all-around player on their defense.
Second down, the Aggies need 7. Fumble in the backfield, and it's recovered by OSU, Brandon Colbert. with the second Aggie turnover in the first 5 minutes of the game. Colbert was the man on the spot. Jackie Sherrill trying to fire his team up. But with 11:40 left to play in the first period so far, it's been all Cowboys, 14-0. Gundy now will set it up again. He'll have in the backfield Sanders and Limbrick. Limbrick, the big fullback, right behind Gundy, weighs about 240 pounds. He won't carry very much, but he'll be the lead blocker. Oh, that time the Aggies were at the line of scrimmage to meet Sanders head on. Led by Aaron Wallace, the outside linebacker, number 23.
The Aggie defense guessed right. They shot the linebackers, and one of them ran right into the running back. Now, if you're Oklahoma State, you see that, and next time you fake that handoff, you swing somebody over the middle, it should be open, theoretically.
Wallace and Roper play that outside stand-up position on the A&M defensive line. Gundy will throw on second down across the middle. One-handed catch by Hartley Dykes inside the 30, run out of bounds at the 26-yard line of A&M by Gary Jones, the strong safety. But Hartley Dykes shows you why he's considered one of the top athletes in college football.
Hartley Dykes already has extended his streak. This now becomes the 26th consecutive game he's caught at least 2 passes. And Bill, just like we talked about, if the linebackers are coming, you run somebody behind them across the middle, and it should be open. It was. What a catch by Dykes.
Boy, he reached right behind him. He has 2 catches now. He had 8 in the opening game against Miami of Ohio. Gundy will stay with that passing game. Uh-oh, screen. Sanders has a front line in front of him, but a great job that time by O'Neal Gilbert, who came outside and filled the gap at the last minute. The senior out of Monroe, Louisiana, 6'3", 265.
That's the nose tackle drifting out there. A wonderful job of smelling out the play by Gilbert. You expect the linebacker to mess that play up, but if you're Oklahoma State, you sure don't expect the nose tackle to be way out there by the perimeter.
It looked well conceived at first, but no gain on the play. I formation again. Gundy on the draw play to Sanders, gets by 1 tackle for the Aggies, and a good job of closing by Leon Cole, who came over from his left end position. Sanders looked like he had a huge hole to run through.
If Cole doesn't fold back and make the hit here, as you'll see on the replay, Sanders has a touchdown because he clears the linebackers, zigs, zags. If he can cut up and Cole's not coming back, bye-bye Barry.
Mickey Washington on single coverage of Hartley Dykes. You may want to keep that in mind. There it is, and a good play by Washington as he cut inside of Dykes.
Ooh, a little shoving down there as the Aggie player William Thomas came over and shoved Dykes, and Dykes then shoved back. Dangerous. That'll sometimes get a flag.
But Washington really made the play as Dykes cut inside on the one-on-one coverage. Washington did a good job of jumping right in front of Gundy. So now Kerry Blanchard will be back, and he will be attempting a 39-yarder. Rod Haynes, former quarterback, will be holding for OSU. It's up, and it's gone. Kerry Blanchard was 9 of 16 in 1987, and he makes good on this one. And Oklahoma State has scored on its first 3 possessions due to A&M turnovers, and the Cowboys, now with 9:44 left to play in the first period, lead 17-0.
It's incumbent upon the Aggies offense now to take over and do something. They've jeopardized their defense twice already in the game. It's not incumbent upon them to score here yet. You just want to tell your defense, you want to send them a signal, hey, we can move the ball. Hang in there. Don't worry, we'll get some points. But that signal's got to be sent soon in the game, even though it's still early in the first quarter.
Well, a lot was made of the fact that A&M had the toughest schedule possibly in all of college football to start the season. Boy, when you start with Nebraska, LSU, and then, of course, they would have played Alabama in College Station last weekend, but because Alabama decided not to come and postpone that game, the Aggies have not played at home yet this season.
I'm not so sure this team isn't the equal or even possibly better than the two the Aggies have already played. And LSU and Nebraska are terrific football teams. But this OSU is packed with some awfully good athletes.
Norm, Oklahoma State has run 11 plays so far in this game here in the first period and scored 17 points. That's pretty good production. Of course, 2 turnovers by the Aggies.
Bill, that's good production in basketball.
That's right. And since the Hank Iba gym is right to the east of us behind the end zone, I'm sure Mr. Iba's keeping an eye on that. Gary Blanchard has already had a lot of work. He's only played about 7 minutes, and this time he sends Rod Harris deep into the end zone, and he'll kneel down for the touchback. So Mike Gundy leading the way, who had 246 yards passing against Miami of Ohio.
You know,
and now Osgood will try to get it going.
All week, you know, Chris Osgood contemplated this start. I'm going to go out, I'm going to settle down, I'm going to run my offense. In none of his wildest nightmares was he down 17 after 5 minutes of the game.
Osgood, there was movement, a flag on the play. They'll whistle that play dead. It really never got off.
Yeah, Aggie offensive back moved. The running back moved before the snap. And when it happens before the snap, you blow the whistle, you declare the play dead, you march the 5 yards off.
Boy, with 9:40 left to play in the first period, Jackie Sherrill now has to come from 17 points behind. You've got to have a bit of a throwing game, and that time he split his backfield.
Well, at least he's got a quarterback in the game who's a balanced quarterback, though. Osgood is a threat to run or pass. He's a good combination of the two.
When they go into the I formation, that usually means Darren Lewis will get the football. He dots the I for the Aggies. There it is, left side. Trying to get a block from Lewis. He does. And he slips down at about the 20-yard line. Rod Smith ran him out of bounds.
Rod Smith came here, started immediately as a freshman. Last year, now this is a defensive back, 5 interceptions, 5 fumble recoveries, 84 tackles. That's an aggressive defensive back. And he led this defense for OSU a couple of weeks ago against Miami of Ohio with 10 tackles. So far, Lewis has carried the ball 3 times for 12 yards. Second down, 10 needed for the Aggies. It's the double wing look for the Aggies. Osgood appeared to change the play at the line of scrimmage. Let's see what he came up with. Oh, he's got Harris wide open at the 37-yard line. He's run out of bounds by Jason Jewell, but a first down for A&M, a 15-yard pass play. That's the junior squadman, Jason Jewell, we talked about as we ran down the lineups of these two teams. He may be the one the Aggies will try to pick on most of the evening. Jewell was a JUCO All-American at Ellsworth Junior College last season. Jewell and McGriggs are the junior college transfers in that defensive backfield. Darren Lewis gets the call again over the right side. Pretty good blocking that time by Jerry Fontenot, the All-American candidate, and Matt McCall, and those two weigh in at 270 and 295 respectively. Tell you what, McCall's going to go condo any day now. Well, a gain on the play of 5. Look at Paul. What a beast. 77. The tackle nearest you. Fontenot and McCall, they just block out the sunlight. Play action. Osgood wants it all. He's got Harris, and he overthrows him at the 12-yard line. Harris got a step on Jason Jewell, and the ball was just a little overthrown, but it gives you an idea of what kind of an arm this young man has. Well thrown ball by Chris Osgood. Again, when you're trying to hit for more than 50 yards and you misconnect by a half step, that ball's well thrown. I'll tell you what, he threw that about 55 yards in the air. Mike Jones now will check in for A&M along with Felton Ransby and Gary Oliver. There goes Jones in motion.
Across the middle, and Jones is the receiver, and I think he got enough for the first down. He needed 5, he got 6. Sim Drain the third is the tackler for OSU.
That drag pattern with Jones over the middle in short yardage situations is one we saw the Aggies use against LSU in the second half. The wide receivers fly downfield, and Jones just drops right over the middle. He takes advantage of the linebackers, dropping about 7 yards off, and catches the ball in front of them.
Jones, a transfer from Sacramento Junior College. They think he's going to be an outstanding tight end before he leaves A&M. 1st and 10. Hand off again. Lewis. Big hole. Right side. Could go. They need to get a block. 30-yard line. Down inside the 20 before he's tackled. And Rod Smith made the touchdown-saving tackle. The Aggies celebrate a 33-yard run by Darren Lewis.
This is exactly what the A&M defense needed. They needed a sign from the offense. The offense has now thrown the ball effectively. They block effectively. Lewis gets off on a fly. Fontenot, a big block.
Whoa. He sealed off half of Stillwater on the right side. And the Aggies now 1st and 10. The ball on the OSU 18-yard line. The Aggies have shown a lot of poise on this drive, coming back after trailing 17-zip. Again, Lewis gets the call. Good lead block on the play, but good pursuit also by OSU's Devin Jones, number 31, the sophomore out of Duncanville, Oklahoma.
Tell you what, that youngster Brandon Corbett in the line really made that play. He slanted outside. He forced Lewis inside, and as Lewis cut up, Corbett got a hand on him. Even though he'd overrun the play, he forced Lewis back into the flow of the Oklahoma State defense. Fine play by Corbett.
Mike Jones checks in for Brian Ross, and Larry Horton comes in to give Lewis a breather.
Corbett, not Corbett. Brandon Corbett.
Horton, the leading rusher for the Aggies, with Lewis out of the lineup. Osgood, 2nd down. He'll throw inside, and he overthrows the intended receiver Gary Oliver at about the 5-yard line. Kevin Blake was coming strong that time from his free safety position on the blitz.
3rd and long, inside the 20. Lewis comes back. Horton leaves.
Ball on the 19-yard line. The Aggies need 11 for a 1st down. That's Gary Oliver to the top of your screen. 5 defensive backs for OSU. Osgood wants to change the play. I don't know if he'll have enough time, and he has to call a timeout. Well, Osgood that time looked up. He saw that he was running out of time, so he calls a timeout to talk to Jackie Sherrill with 7:18 left to play in the 1st period.
Has leaped to an early lead here. We're midway in the 1st quarter, and the Cowboys had 17 on the board at a little over 5 minutes. A&M has replied, and Bill, again, even if the Aggies must settle for 3 here, it's that positive sign their defense needed.
So far, Osgood has completed 3 passes for 40 yards for Texas A&M.
Remember that drag pattern with Jones over the middle we told you about? That might be something the Aggies will come back to. It worked once, it might work again.
Jackie Sherrill looking on, and right now the Aggies looking for their 1st win of the season, trailing it 17-0, and Osgood has the play from Sherrill. 6 years. You see the record of Jackie Sherrill, 6 years at A&M. That's his total record. That counts at Pittsburgh also. Jackie with 98 wins. In his 6 years at A&M, Sherrill 45-23-1. 3 consecutive Southwest Conference championships for the Aggies. And now Osgood, the man on the spot, 3rd down. The Aggies need 11. And the Aggie band yelling encouragement. 5 defensive backs for OSU. He fakes the handoff. Osgood on the scramble. Good job. Gets it to Jones inside the 10. Good job of running by big Mike Jones as he stumbles down to the 5-yard line. 1st down for the Aggies. Melvin Gilliam tripped him up.
That's the man, Jones. Again, the receivers took the other backs deep. Jones had single coverage short along the side.
And I think Osgood could have taken the ball, tucked it up, and run with it a little bit. Boy, good job. Good balance.
Good job of staying on his feet, wasn't it?
Jones is 6'3", 225 pounds, and he's a load. Now Ross checks back into the game for A&M.
Realize one other thing. Osgood is proficient at running the option. He's quick to the outside.
Lewis and Wilson in the backfield. Darren Lewis gets a block, gets to about the 5. First man in was David Bailey, along with Sim Drain III. Lewis, the workhorse, Southwest Conference newcomer of the year last season, and had rushed for 45 yards before injuring his big toe against Nebraska.
Bailey takes on Fontenot. Fontenot clears, but the rest of the Oklahoma State pursuit closed down inside to shut the hole. But Bailey's a load, isn't he?
Second down. Flip back, Lewis. Good block and good pursuit by OSU. It looked like he was going to turn it up inside and get more yardage, but Devin Jones came back and cut him off along with Brandon Colbert.
Bill, when the Aggies flowed right there, Harris, who's their best receiver, had one-on-one coverage to the left. If the coaches noticed that and they could sprint right and throw back left, that's something they'd want. But now they've changed the formation.
Lewis comes out of the game. Horton is checked in along with Wilson and Mike Jones. Big third down play for A&M. They need to score. Osgood, little down and out. It's good. Touchdown to Rod Harris. Right inside the end zone. And boy, is it nice to have Rod Harris back for Texas A&M. The big play man. Joe Avesano said that going into the Nebraska game, he wanted to get the ball to that man Harris, to Darren Lewis, and of course to Bucky Richardson. But when Lewis and Harris went out with injuries, Bucky was all alone. Now they are back. And Scott Slater will try to tack on the extra point. He's almost an automatic.
Next point is good.
It's good. An 80-yard drive by Texas A&M. We have scored a lot of points here in the first period. 5:52 left to play in period number 1. And the Cowboys lead, but now by only 17-7.
Well, the Aggies got what they wanted, didn't they, Bill? They got one-on-one coverage with Rod Harris. That's all you can ask. If they one-on-one cover your big play man, you try to hit them and make them pay with that defense.
Well, that is the most consistent drive that I've seen A&M on this season, and Osgood really looks spectacular moving the ball club.
He does. He moves well, and we haven't yet seen Chris Osgood, the scrambler or the runner in this game, but you'll see that later on. He's very capable, very dangerous in the open field.
Now the only problem for the Aggies, as you look at that offensive line, there is Matt McCall, all 295 pounds of him, out of Lufkin, Texas. When you kick off to Oklahoma State, you hold your breath. Barry Sanders will be back deep.
They squibbed the first time, and in fact the Aggies have brought Lane Talbot in to do the kicking off. Remember now, this guy has returned 5 kicks for touchdowns in the last 13 games. They think so much of Barry Sanders that in the preseason Playboy All-American, he wasn't even a regular last year. They made him a preseason Playboy All-American.
Well, he was behind Thurman Thomas, but he still gained over 600 yards. They're kicking it short. Fumbled around by OSU is going to be effective, and the tackle made by the Aggies at about the 25-yard line. Lafayette Turner was down early for A&M. 6-yard return. And for Oklahoma State, that was Garrick Limbrick, the big fullback out of Houston, Texas, who got the short kickoff and brought it back.
You remember, an official hit and hurt in that melee somewhere.
Pistol piece.
Well, it looks like he's laughing about it. It's better than crying. Boy, when you get caught, you're not wearing any pads out there, and those guys are huge.
Everything for the OSU fan is at Pistol Piece. OSU store.
So now it'll be Gundy in the backfield along with Barry Sanders and Garrick Limbrick.
I believe that was Larry Weeks.
Gerard Green out to the lower part of your screen. Up to the top will be Hartley Dykes. Gundy going for Dykes. Great catch at the 42-yard line. Oh, did he go up and get that? Hartley Dykes made like a forward in basketball, and all Alex Morris could do was watch him make the catch.
You remember R.C. Owens of the 49ers, the famous alley-oop play? This is what they call a jump ball. You throw it up, let Hartley jump for the ball.
And the key there was that Morris was watching Dykes and not watching the football.
Bill, 6'4.5", 220-pound plus guys aren't supposed to be quick wideouts. Look at the record of Dykes, who's going to finish as the all-time leading receiver in the history of this conference.
Yeah, he's right behind Johnny Rogers of Nebraska. Gundy on the keep, and he gains about 4 to the 45-yard line. On the option, Aaron Wallace finally cut him off. I think Gundy wanted to pitch it that time, but the Aggies kept going for the pitch man.
Right here, the message to your defense is, do us a favor and let us see what the Oklahoma State punter looks like.
5:18 left to play in the first period. Cowboys leading at 17-7. Aggies with a good drive, and now they need their defense to dig in. Gundy will change the play at the line of scrimmage. 12 seconds left on this possession. Sanders right at midfield. Brought down by Leon Cole and William Thomas. But that's going to be close for first down. He may be about a yard shy.
Sanders, of course, being nicknamed in the local press the Colonel. What else when your name is Sanders, right? You realize this guy, Bill, a touchdown every 9 times he touched the ball for 2 years. That's outrageous.
He has 70 yards and 5 carries in this game. Third down. Cowboys need 1. It looks like Gundy's changing the play again. This time he'll hand it off to Limbrick, and the Aggies were waiting for it, and I don't think he made it. Dana Batiste really stuffed that play, along with Roper and Cole.
Yeah, Leon Cole really closed down well from the defensive end. What happens is, if the hole closes because your offensive lineman has been shoved into it, that's tough on you. Now watch where Limbrick tries to go here. See, his lineman was knocked into the hole.
That's right. He ran right up the back of Chris Stanley. Stanley really made the tackle. But they're going to go for it, the Cowboys. And all 50,000 plus are up here at Lewis Stadium. Well, it could be a big break for the Aggies if they hold. Little less than a yard needed for the first down. Gundy on the quarterback sneak. And did he get it?
I think he did. Yeah, the way it's being marked, he got it. The side judge marks it, and where he's put it down is about 1.5 feet past the yardstick.
First down. So Pat Jones gambling early. But he has a nice lead to gamble with, leading 17-7 right now with 3:52 left to play in the first period. Mitch Nash now checks in for Barry Sanders. Nash, 5'9", 193-pound senior out of Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Fumble, getting the snap, and Gundy was almost trampled underneath that pile. He never got the snap from his center, John Bovair.
Bill, is it a requirement at Oklahoma State that no tailback can be over 5'9"? They've had a bunch of little scooters back there. Look at Gundy. Uh-oh. Ooh, Bill.
I think he was down.
I don't know. Was the knee ever down back there?
Well, he looked like he was about to be smothered. A loss on the play of 2. It'll bring up second down for the Cowboys. Here comes the blitz by A&M. Gundy in trouble. He can scramble now. Looking for a receiver. Great interception. Nope, it was incomplete. William Thomas came inside. The Cowboy fans want interference, but Thomas really reacted to the football, so there'll be nothing called here.
Terrific rush by Terry Price. That's the man Gundy has to avoid here. 88 scrambles away, then looks downfield for Chaplin, but you're right. Ooh, Thomas is going to look at those game films and say, doggone it.
Almost had the interception. I thought he had it for a moment. Gundy, a good scrambler. Pat Jones told him, said, now we know the Aggies like to blitz, but go ahead and do what makes you comfortable. Here's the first look at the shotgun. There's going to be a flag on the play. I think somebody from the Cowboys moving. Little pass out there in the flat to Mitch Nash, and it'll be shy of the first down. So if it's against the Cowboys, I'm sure the Aggies will refuse it. Nash just could not keep his balance. what it is against OSU, and the Aggies will refuse and force a 4th down. And OSU with its first punt.
Maybe. In this game, I think you have to always say maybe, don't you? Tell you what, does that look like the punting unit to you?
Well, I know Rod Harris thinks it is. He's in the game, back deep. They're going for it. Now Harris is in the game.
What we may have here now.
And Washington calls a timeout.
Oh.
Mickey Washington forced to call a timeout because Mike Gundy came up to the line of scrimmage to run it on 4th down, needing 5. The offensive man, Harris, was in the game, so Mickey Washington ran quickly to the official and called the second timeout for the Aggies.
Smart thing by Mickey Washington, because they had the punt return team in for A&M, and they weren't ready to defend against an offensive play. Realize one other thing. Where the ball is right now, if Oklahoma State comes to the line of scrimmage and can draw the Aggies offside, they will have a 1st down. That might have been the plan of Oklahoma State here. Come in, call some audibles, call some numbers. If you see the Aggies jump, then snap the ball. If you get a delay of game, fine. You back up 5, you punt the ball.
The snapper for OSU on the punts is Bill Jones, who's played a little bit of tight end, and he is not in the game, so OSU definitely going for it here on 4th and 5. 2:37 left to play in the first period. And here we have another key down in this game.
I don't know, Bill. I still get a feeling this may be a fake. Dykes is out of the lineup on 4th and 5. That's strange.
Thinking quick kick here, maybe another point. There it is.
There it
and
is.
The Aggies jump off sides, and it's going to be a penalty against A&M.
They did it. They suckered A&M offside. That was the play. They designed the whole thing to draw the Aggies offside.
Jackie Sherrill doesn't agree. He's saying that somebody moved on the offensive side, but if you're moving backwards for OSU, it's not a penalty.
No, Gundy has a right as long as he doesn't put his hands under center to back up.
And as long as nobody on that front line was moving.
Yes. Now the officials are huddling, trying to see what each saw on the play. Did you see an offensive lineman move? Did the quarterback put his hands under?
You know, there are a lot of coaches this year against the split crews, Norm. They don't think that they communicate well enough. And finally, they have decided that it's going against Texas A&M.
Bill, that was exactly the play. Didn't it seem strange for Oklahoma State to be out there without Dykes? And they did it. Now they got to measure for a 1st down. Wait a minute. Is it a 1st down? That's the question now.
The scoreboard said they needed 5. So referee Sam Mathis will measure. You check out the play again.
Watch. See. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, it looked like the guy on the Oklahoma State line, Chris Stanley, moved in there.
That's what they were checking on. Here comes the measurement. Let's see. They may have it. They do. That's the signal by Mike Gundy. And now the timeout is called by the official. He's going to go over and explain to Jackie Sherrill. Sherrill wants an explanation here. Sam Mathis will go over and talk to Sherrill. Mathis is from the Big 8. There are 4 Big 8 officials, 3 from the Southwest Conference. And a lot of people would rather have all of the officials being from the same team. They feel like it's a smoother game call than when you have a split crew.
Well, regardless of the propriety of the call, the reality of the call is what Oklahoma State was trying to do worked, at least in the officials' minds.
Well, this OSU drive started back on its own 26-yard line, and here they are on the Aggies 38, 1st and 10 with 2:28 left to play in the first period. Gundy on the draw play. What a move by Sanders. Inside the 30 to the 26-yard line. A gain of 12 on the play. John Roper and Gary Jones on the tackle. I'm telling you what. He's quick as a hiccup, isn't he? Look at the way he darts inside.
Boy, the Colonel with a nugget of a run here. Cut, shake, cut, shake. Ooh.
First down again. The ball now on the A&M 26-yard line. OSU has responded with a great drive after the Aggie touchdown. Sanders darting and dashing, a gain of about 2.
Bill, are you sure Thurman Thomas graduated?
Well, there's some people in the NFL know he did.
Well, I mean, you can get a plane from Oklahoma to Buffalo in time for him to play tomorrow for the Bills. I have a funny feeling they have sneaked this guy back into college.
Well, Miami of Ohio will tell you that Sanders is for real. Sanders against Miami of Ohio rushed for 178 yards. So far on 7 carries, he has 85, and we are just in the first period. 1:34 left to play. Second down, needing 7. There goes Sanders again. This time he slips. Good Aggie pursuit at the 21-yard line, led by Leon Cole and Adam Bobb.
We've told you about Sanders having 5 kick returns for touchdowns in 2 years, basically, of his career. The all-time NCAA record for total kick returns for touchdowns in a career is 8. You may recognize the 2 people who hold it. Johnny Rodgers, the former Heisman Trophy winner, and Cliff Branch, the 11, 12-year wide receiver for the Raiders in the NFL.
Third down. The Cowboys need 5. Option. Wide open. Sanders needs a block. 10. Run out of bounds at the 5-yard line by Alex Morris, but not before the Cowboys get another first down. The option play run to perfection. Gundy to Sanders for a gain of 17 yards.
Bill, when you were a kid, did you ever play that game where you picked a play and the defense picked a play and you put it on the lighted board to see if their defense stopped your offense? The Aggies had jammed the middle. Oklahoma State got outside.
Great call that time by Pat Jones. Offensive coordinator Larry Coker. Sanders now with 104 yards rushing.
And we're in the first quarter still.
44 seconds left to play, first period. First and goal for the Cowboys. Sanders, good penetration in the backfield that time by Aaron Wallace, and he forced Sanders inside where he got some help. They may promote him from a colonel after this game. He may be General Sanders when he gets through this week. Look at the stats, and we are still early in this game if you just tuned in.
And don't forget, he's also got a reception for some yardage in this game.
24 points scored by both teams so far. And they're checking the clock. There's been a timeout whistled on the field.
Gundy says, hey, we can't let the clock run out here.
He says it's not running.
Yeah, they've got to call a play. I don't believe they can. Wait a minute. This
Now it is inside of 10 seconds. They're going to let it run down.
How did this happen, Bill? There was way over 25 seconds left in this quarter when the last play ended.
Well, it's over. The first period is history. A wide offensive-minded game from Stillwater. The Cowboys 17, the Aggies 7, and OSU threatening to make it more. To Lewis Stadium in Stillwater, Oklahoma, we have a sellout crowd of 50,000 on hand as we get ready to start the second period. In the first period, Oklahoma State scored early, a run by Barry Sanders of 58 yards, and OSU got on the board 7-0. Came right back again on a run by Nash after an A&M fumble on the kickoff, and Oklahoma State skating to an early lead, 14-0. Then Blanchard with a 39-yard field goal, making it 17-zip Oklahoma State before the Aggies came back on an 80-yard drive engineered by Chris Osgood. A touchdown pass into the end zone to Rod Harris. Now the Aggies are trying to hold OSU out again as we start the second period. Flip back Sanders. He's going to score. The Aggies had him back at the 5-yard line, and the little water bug, Barry Sanders out of Wichita, Kansas, broke free and scored for OSU.
That run's got to discourage Jackie Sherrill and the coaching staff just a bit, because you're right. They had the play defensed two people really had good shots at Sanders around the 5-yard line, but neither could make the tackle and wrap him up. And the lead's going to be back to 17 if Blanchard can hit it.
Gary Blanchard made good on 45 of 48 extra points last season. He's good on this one. And Oklahoma State with 24 points in just a few seconds into the second period. 24-7 over A&M. A 74-yard drive for the Cowboys.
Here's your touchdown run. Simple pitch sweep. Gilbert and Batiste have hands on Sanders, but nobody can bring him down.
And Roper had a shot at him at about the 2-yard line. Well, you're looking at one of the most exciting running backs, well, two of them actually tonight. Darren Lewis is having a good game for the Aggies. He hasn't had his hands on the football as much as Sanders has, but you have two explosive backs, and this is a quality offensive line, too, as we remind you, 5-year seniors for OSU.
Do you get a feeling we could be watching a game not unlike this afternoon's Wyoming Air Force game that ended 48-45?
Well, we'll see in just a moment what the Aggies can do with it offensively.
Because when you really think about it, Oklahoma State hasn't stopped the Aggies. The Aggies stopped themselves fumbling at midfield. Then they ran it the length of the field on an 80-yard drive. There hadn't been a punt in this game.
OSU has rushed for 111 yards, and 106 of those 111 have been by Barry Sanders. It'll be Rod Harris just inside the 5. Oh, he's parried at the 18-yard line. Cecil Wilson was the first man down for the Cowboys. A 13-yard return by Harris. Look at this first quarter. A lot of offense for both teams.
Nearly 300 yards of total offense in the first quarter. Tell you what, the easiest scholarship in Stillwater tonight might be the punters.
Here we go with the Aggies inside their own 20-yard line. Osgood in the backfield again with Darren Lewis, Robert Wilson. Oliver will now split out at the top part of your screen along with Harris. Harris, swing play. Can he get a block? He got a good block, but a great play. Good reaction by Melvin Gilliam. He's a 3-year starter for Oklahoma State, and Lamar McGriggs, number 7, was right in there.
This team has a pair of really physical, hard-hitting safeties in Smith and McGriggs, and Gilliam, the veteran, comes up. Wonderful play here by 2, and then oof, McGriggs cleans up, doesn't he?
Gilliam has 10 career interceptions for OSU. He's had a brilliant career here. Second down, needing 12. And Lewis on the draw play. He gets a big haul out to about the 28-yard line before he's brought down on the play, and it's going to be close for an A&M first down. Rod Smith made the tackle, but now Lewis starting to show you a few of his moves and going behind all Southwest Conference, Fontenot and McCall.
Yeah, that right side, the Aggies have found something over there they can work on against the left side of the Oklahoma State defense.
Really working on David Bailey and Brandon Colbert.
Well, sometimes the way to attack the best player on the defense, Bailey, is to go right at him rather than have him pursue and run you down.
First down A&M, Osgood. Horton, fumble. Did he have possession of the ball? Who's got it? We haven't seen a signal, and we're waiting for one. It was a completion and a fumble, and OSU gets it. What a bad turn of events for the Aggies, but the Cowboy fans are happy. Jackie Sherrill is not a happy man. We're just into the second period of play. A&M turnovers, the Cowboys with a 24-7 lead. It's being tested again. The ball will be placed down at about the 33-yard line of A&M. Mitch Nash will be along with Garrett Limbrick. Gundy wants to throw. Gundy going for it all. Hartley, Dykes, touchdown, OSU. Oh, is he some kind of receiver?
What a catch by Dykes.
38 yards. William Thomas and Mickey Washington were all over Hartley Dykes. And not a bad pass by Mr. Gundy.
No, it wasn't. Bill, I'm going to mention the name of a professional player that Dykes reminds me of, and see if he does you. Art Monk of the Redskins. Big, not extraordinarily fast, but gifted with wonderful hands.
So far, Hartley Dykes is putting on a clinic. Blanchard up with the extra point. It's good. 13:34 left to play in the second period, and the Cowboys have put 31 points on the scoreboard.
Watch this catch. It's against double coverage, but Dykes is 5-6 inches taller than either defensive backs. Thrown behind him, he adjusts to the ball in the air. Touch, Oklahoma State.
Keep in mind, as you take a look at Gundy, and he puts that ball up where Dykes can get to it. He didn't throw it short, he threw it up, and that's pretty good coverage by William Thomas, but he wasn't looking at the football. Now remember that Dykes now is really closing in on one of the toughest records in the country, I think. Take a look at the scoring drive. Dykes coming into this game needed, Norm, 283 yards receiving to become the all-time leading receiver in the Big 8.
That's another Johnny Rodgers record, the former Heisman Trophy winner from Nebraska.
That's right. He might get it tonight.
Well, you know, Gundy, he's cooking along. He ought to be in triple figures in receiving yard or in passing yardage right now. He's moving up the list. This club has got some tools offensively.
Dykes has 4 receptions tonight for 89 yards. Rod Harris deep in his end zone. And again, Gary Blanchard does an excellent job of kicking off deep.
Hey, Bill, after the game, this guy Blanchard's going to have to soak his leg. He's gotten more airtime tonight than James Arness got in all those years he was in Gunsmoke. I'm telling you, he's been all over our telecast tonight, hasn't he?
Gundy having an incredible night. Hartley Dykes. The Aggies have really been working pretty hard on defense, Norm, but that's almost perfect execution by the Cowboys.
Bill, we are 16 and a half minutes deep in the game, and the kicker has been in on 10 plays already.
Chris Osgood. He's going to go long. Looking for Harris. He's over his left shoulder. Harris was looking inside, and Jason Jewell was running step for step with Harris, and Osgood threw it over his left shoulder. I don't think that Chris is happy with that pass.
But again, if you're the Aggies, I know it seems silly to say the other team only leads by 24, but this could be an explosive game. I mean, this might be first 1 to 50 wins tonight.
Ball at the 20, second down. Aggies need 10. Darren Lewis.
Nice.
Oh, what a nice run as he gets across the 25 to the 27. First one in was Rod Gaines. Look at this move that Lewis makes to duck inside.
Bill, I think we're going to have to assist that Oklahoma State player with his athletic supporter. I think part of him just left it. What a move by Lewis.
That's 10 carries now by Darren Lewis for 74 yards. So the tailback position tonight is shining brightly for both of these teams, Lewis and Sanders. Third down, the Aggies need 3. Osgood. Harris, great play. First down, A&M across the 35 to about the 37. Now that's hard to defense.
As you watch tonight's game, if you've not seen the Aggies before this season, and you say to yourself, how in the world did they lose 27-0 to LSU? Well, take this guy out of the lineup, Harris, and take Darren Lewis out of the lineup. You take your 2 big play people out of the lineup, they were offenseless against LSU without them.
Good timing play. Osgood to Harris. Now Lewis will take the football again. Cuts inside. Oh, big hole. 45-15. Needs to get by one man, and that may have been a touchdown-saving tackle by Jason Jewell. Lewis made something out of nothing, and all great running backs do.
This play is designed to go over the right side. See the holes between right guard and right tackle. No hole there, no hole over the middle. Let me go outside left here. Keeps his balance. Jukes. Jewell hanging on for dear life.
First down and 10 for A&M in OSU territory. That was a 16-yard gain by Lewis. This time, hand off to Robert Wilson, and he's going nowhere. He's the up back in that I formation. Wilson, a freshman out of Worthing High School. He's a big one, too, 235 pounds. But Colbert and Bailey smell that play out early. Second down and 10 to go. The ball on the 47-yard line. The Aggies trying to get back into this game with a touchdown, trailing 31-7 with 11:55 and counting down here in the first half. Chris Osgood. Lewis, big hole left side, and again a big tackle by Rod Smith to save more yardage. And that front line for Texas A&M doing a job. L.B. Moon that time, along with Richmond Webb and Mike Arthur, the center.
Again, a couple of nice kick-out blocks for the Aggies, and boy, they're running every side.
Watch Fontenot pull. Oh, what a block by the all-conference performer. Fontenot just stood David Bailey right up at the line of scrimmage, and it'll bring up third down. The Aggies will need one for the first down to keep this drive going.
They have one-on-one coverage with Harris wide right if they want to throw the ball.
Wilson has the first down. He's right at the 35-yard line. Good job of knifing in on the left side. David Bailey made the tackle for OSU, but another A&M first down.
Bill, again, if you're on the Aggie sideline, Reveille seems to be a little stoked up in this drive. If you're on the Aggie sideline and you're the defensive team, it starts to dawn on you, hey, if we can just stop Oklahoma State a couple of times, the Aggie offense is moving the football.
Yes, it is. 10:45 left to play second period. Ball on the 35. Brian Ross into the game. Switches to the left side at tight end. Osgood looking for a receiver, going deep. And it's into the end zone and overthrown on the play.
Cornelius Patterson, backup wide receiver on the fly for A&M.
At the time, Osgood made sure that it would not be intercepted. OSU had good coverage on the play. So that stops the clock at 10:30.
Still a positive sign for the Aggies. Chris Osgood looks like he's in charge.
He certainly is. He's had a good game so far. He just hasn't had the ball that much. And the right side of the A&M line, Matt McCall, the play must have been on the first sound. And McCall went shooting out of his stance. And that's the call against A&M.
Watch 77, the right tackle. In fact, the whole line.
Yeah, Fontenot. There was
a great seal-off block by Fontenot.
A beautiful night in Stillwater at Lewis Stadium. There's a full moon tonight and a lot of offense.
389 yards already.
Second down, 15 needed for the Aggies. Ball is back on the 40-yard line. They're going to see if Lewis can get it for him. And that time, OSU was on a blitz. Coming strong. Sim Drain was in there along with Bobby Rayner.
Lewis looking for the hole. Wonderfully filled by Rayner.
Yeah, Fontenot was thinking block on the outside. Cut back in. There's Rayner, the freshman out of Idabel, Oklahoma.
Some great names in Oklahoma. Eakley, Binger. Some great places.
Big down for the Aggies, 3rd and 15. Osgood. Rush. Osgood has a man open. It's complete. It's going to be a first down for Texas A&M. Gary Oliver on the reception inside the OSU 25-yard line, but there is a flag back on the 47.
It was thrown in the area where you would expect offensive holding. Not necessarily so, but it was thrown in that particular area.
I think that's going to be the call, Norm. If it is, oh, a tough break for the Aggies. Osgood was scrambling, and it looked like with OSU with a blitz up the middle, somebody maybe had to grab hold for A&M.
It will be walked off against Texas A&M. Bill, let's readjust the sights now on this play as the ball spotted at the 50. The Aggies now need 25 yards for a first down. But realize Slater has a good long-distance leg, their field goal kicker. And if they could get only about 15 yards to the 35, Slater could conceivably try a long field goal to get them back within 21 points.
A&M's got to go 25 yards now for a first down. The Aggies have to go all the way to the 25-yard line. OSU, Osgood. He's got a man in the middle, and it's overthrown inside the 20. Good defense there by Melvin Gilliam on Cornelius Patterson. It was just overthrown. Patterson, a diminutive receiver, and that was just a little too tall for him, and aided by an A&M penalty, the OSU defense holds. Aggies have made a lot of mistakes so far here in the first half. A&M has been penalized 4 times for 25 yards. OSU has yet to be called for a penalty.
Let's go, Barry!
Sean Wilson, the veteran punter. And Sanders did not call for the fair catch, brought it up about 3 yards. He's also one of the leading punt returners in the nation, and was last year, finished number 2 in that category in the nation.
Finished number 1 in kickoff returns in the nation.
36-yard punt by Sean Wilson, 4-yard return by Barry Sanders. OSU backed up inside its 20-yard line, and the Aggies defense now needing to force something to happen. 9:20, the time remaining in the second period. Norm, the story of this game has been the A&M turnovers and mistakes. Oklahoma State's offense has made them pay.
Well, the Aggies put themselves in such a dramatic hole early with the return fumble right after the first Oklahoma State touchdown, and then the fumble at midfield when they were down 14-0 that Oklahoma State converted into 3. The Cowboys, bless their souls, I tell you what, they are opportunistic. They went right for the jugular early and have jumped to a huge lead.
You're going to see the yardage on Mike Gundy for his career, and he has passed Rusty Hilger, who had all of the records here at OSU, and now he's going after everybody in the Big 8 conference, and he's got his sights set on Sawyer.
The touchdown pass tonight would make for his career 25 touchdowns in his career. And we're talking about a young man who is just at the lip of his junior season.
He's completed this season over 75% of his passes, and you saw the figure right there in this game. Sanders, look at the little water bug moves as he's across the 25 to about the 26. Gary Jones, William Thomas. For A&M, we're calling the names of the defensive backs too often. And the big offensive line for OSU really blowing out the down lineman for A&M. Look at it from Sanders' point of view.
Take a look at Sanders' body, though. Look at the buttocks and the thighs on him. This isn't your usual tiny little runner back there. This guy's packed 197 pounds into his 5'9". He's got some size in addition to speed.
OSU needs 1. Roper with a good job of knifing in. Roper made the initial contact in the backfield, and then Dana Batiste finished him off. Roper crashing in from the left side. You know, Norm, when you look at the A&M defense, they called Wallace and Roper the Blitz brothers last year because they had so many sacks. This season, they don't have any. There are the stats on Roper for last season, 15 quarterback sacks. Third down, still needing 1 for the Cowboys. Gundy on the pitch, Sanders, and he may have gotten it. He's right at the 30-yard line. Leon Cole on the tackle for A&M.
Good piece of running by Barry Sanders. That's only a 2.5 to 3 yard gain. But the way Sanders hunted and pecked along the line of scrimmage, he knew he needed a yard. He knew he needed 1 crack. That wasn't, hey, let's go the distance. That was, let's get 2.
There's Kerry Blanchard warming up in case he's needed to punt. Curtis Mayfield, a sophomore out of Dallas Spruce, has checked into the game for Hartley Dykes. Mayfield, a sophomore. He'll take over for Dykes. Well, no, he's in there with Dykes now. He has checked in for Gerard Green. first down and 10.
Out for a throw off the run fake.
Sanders breaks through again, and a good tackle by William Thomas, or Sanders is off to the races.
Bill, the problem for the Aggie defense is the yardage being made on first down a lot of the times by Oklahoma State. And what happens is you jam the line of scrimmage, you jam the line of scrimmage. They show you this look, they show you this look, they show you this look. And then 2 plays down the road, they show you the same look, fake the sprint draw, and throw the bomb off the same play.
124 yards rushing for Barry Sanders on 14 carries. Did you see how he skipped through that little hole right there he had on the left side? Look at the size of that Garrett Limbrick in front of him. And Limbrick will get the ball.
You remember Limbrick as a player at another position in high school, though.
Yes, he played quarterback, Limbrick, at Northbrook in Houston. As we take a look at Pat Jones, the highly successful coach here at Oklahoma State, came over with Jimmy Johnson, and then took over when Johnson went to Miami. And I'll tell you what, Norm, if you take Nebraska and Oklahoma off his schedule, he's tough.
Garrett Limbrick used to be a quarterback?
Yes, he did. Of course, that was 35 pounds ago.
I was going to say, that's a big quarterback.
He doesn't get to carry the ball very often. He'll block most of the time. Gundy going long, looking for Green, and there was contact at about the 18, but no flag. Alex Morris with a good job of coverage. Gerard Green.
There it was, Bill, that exact play. They show the sprint draw, the sprint draw, the sprint draw, then they fake the sprint draw and go bomb on you.
This time, Washington and Thomas were back, and Thomas did a good job of staying with him that time.
Thomas was playing the ball. There was some contact there, but Thomas was definitely playing the ball.
Gundy is now 7 of 10 for 108 yards. It'll be second down and 10, the ball on the 41-yard line. 6:28 left to play, second quarter. Barry Sanders, big hole. One man to beat, and he can't do it. William Thomas saves a touchdown at the A&M 34-yard line. Barry Sanders scoots through a big hole in the middle, a 24-yard gain for Sanders. Big blocks by Stanley, Bovair, and Kidder.
For those of you who've never seen the Aggies before, or Oklahoma State, let us assure you this is not an easy defensive team to rip up the way Oklahoma State is doing.
The Aggies coming into this season had one of the best defenses in the country. 148 yards for Sanders, and we have a new backfield in there. Mitch Nash is now into the game. Gundy throwing across the middle for Dykes. Gets to the outside. Look out. 10. 5, and he's down at the 1-yard line. William Thomas pulls him down from behind.
Goes out of bounds near the half-yard line.
And another 38 yards to Dykes.
Gundy that time rolled to the right side and threw to Dykes going away from him. Watch this brilliant play by Gundy as he bobbled the snap. Opportunistic, to say the least. And look at the balance by Hartley Dykes all the way down to the 1-yard line before Thomas can wrap him up.
Somebody's going to get a runner's dream here. A cheapo touchdown.
Dykes with 122 yards. Sanders with 146. And off, and it's touchdown. OSU. Mitch Nash. They're loving it in Stillwater.
Did Gundy give that ball up? I don't know if Gundy gave that ball up, Bill.
No, I think it was a quarterback sneak. It was. And Gundy wants the 6 points. And the Cowboy is stalking tonight.
Hey, they have a right to have a big head right now, right?
Boy, you say. 37 points for OSU. The Aggies with 7, 5:49 left to play in the first half.
Here's Blanchard again.
The extra point is up and good. And in Stillwater, the Cowboys 38, the Aggies 7. Well, coming into this game, the Texas Aggies with high hopes of returning to the Cotton Bowl this season. Of course, those hopes were dashed by the NCAA, but the Aggies still wanted to win that Southwest Conference Championship, still looking for their first win, and they have been ambushed here in Stillwater so far tonight. OSU using Barry Sanders and Hartley Dykes and this gentleman, Mike Gundy, have been absolutely overpowering.
I don't know when I've last seen a college team with 3 outrageous weapons like Oklahoma State. A fantastic quarterback, a fantastic runner, and a fantastic wide receiver.
Well, Norm, in the state of Oklahoma this year, there may be another #1 team besides the Sooners.
Well, that's been the frustration here at Oklahoma State, that as good as Jimmy Johnson and Pat Jones have made the program, they've not been able to break the stranglehold on the Big 8 enjoyed by Nebraska and Oklahoma. And from what we see tonight, Bill, it's hard to imagine there are 15 or 20 better teams in the nation, as the rankings suggest right now.
Boy, I haven't seen any. Again, Harris driven all the way back to the back of his end zone, and the Aggies will have it out on the 20-yard line. Another great kick by Kerry Blanchard. Well, again, a long scoring drive by OSU. In 3:31, Mike Gundy.
But again, with LSU having a very close call today, Georgia being soundly whipped at South Carolina, OU being soundly whipped by USC, there are some places available to move up for Oklahoma State.
Chris Osgood has to throw. Lewis trying to get outside. There's that swarming defense by OSU. And Bobby Rayner along with Lamar McGriggs.
Rayner's looked very good tonight in the defensive backfield, hasn't he?
Yes, he has everybody for OSU. The Aggies have been moving the ball well enough on offense, but some turnovers by A&M have made a big difference in this game. Good. The middle, great move. 30, needs a block, needs one more, and he runs right into Jason Jewell. He was trying to get outside, and he had Jewell to beat to go for big yardage, and couldn't quite do it.
Yeah, he probably could have had 5 or 7 more yards on this play, but Osgood was trying to turn this into a huge play. We warned you about what a good scrambler this young man was, and that he'd show it later on in the game sometime. This is a couple of nifty moves.
Well, when he came out of high school football, he was considered a goal chipper, one of the top 25 in the nation. Had a good first year at Ole Miss before transferring in '87. Good pass to Harris, and Harris gets to the 46-yard line. Again, Jason Jewell defending for OSU. Cowboys playing a little looser on defense now, owning a 38-7 lead with 4:40 left to play in the second period.
As you see, Osgood again hit his main man, Harris, at the perimeter. From the book of stupid comments by analysts on TV, Bill, if you're the Aggies, you're standing on the sideline saying, golly, we wish we could start this all over again because we've shot ourselves in the foot so often it's made the scoreboard look silly in relation to what the two teams really are.
Yes, you've got to hand the offensive explosion to OSU. Very talented. Let's see what the whistle here is. Harris so far in this game for A&M has 5 catches for 41 yards. First down and 10. 4:40 to play second period. Darren Lewis, big hole, nice run. Good break it does across the down inside the 30 to the 25. Jason Jewell on the tackle. The Aggies continue to move the football. The A&M offense has moved the football. A 30-yard run by Lewis. And he now has 97 yards on 13 carries.
It's got to be frustrating for the Aggies to look at the scoreboard and say we're down 31, but we can move it all day on all night against Oklahoma State. But 31's a hill to climb.
Lewis having an excellent game. First and 10, Osgood. Oh, what a hit. Right inside the 20. That time it was Chris Lowry, the backup right end, and he really put a hit on Lewis.
But it's a 7.5-yard gain for the Aggies, and they continue to move the football.
Good job by Osgood of reading. Lewis right out of the backfield.
Just get in the seam between the linebackers.
Clock running, 3:49. There's Larry. He had an interception 2 weeks ago against Miami of Ohio. Lewis now with 126 yards rushing. Overthrown. Harris did the little button hook pattern at the 2-yard line and was overthrown on the play. Big rush by David Bailey for OSU. So Harris having a good night tonight for A&M. So is Chris Osgood.
3rd and 2.5 now for the Aggies, and the chore is get the first down, continue the drive. But if you're the Aggies, you're in 4-down territory. You're not going to stop to kick field goals at this point in the game.
3:37 left to play, second period. Aggies need 3 for a first on the option, and it was read by Sean Mackey, the 6'3", 246-pound sophomore out of Marlow, Oklahoma.
That may change the Aggies' outlook just a little bit, because now it's about 3rd and a short 5.
Well, there was a lot of pursuit by OSU. The Aggies may want to keep that in mind and possibly try a reverse a little later in the game. All the orange jerseys were really swarming to Lewis.
The Aggies now are discussing what play they want to call with Osgood. Apparently they will, as Howard Cosell used to say, eschew the field goal.
Well, stay tuned with us for halftime. We'll have the Fightin' Texas Aggie band to perform for you.
That band looks grim.
Well, he just looked at the same thing you are, the scoreboard, and it's not a happy sight. If you're just joining us, the Aggies have moved the ball well offensively, but have had 3 costly turnovers deep in their own territory. Oklahoma State has turned everyone into points and lead at 38-7, 3:26 to play. A&M has converted on 5 of 7 third-down opportunities, and it'll be 4th down now for the Aggies.
Well, the Aggies have a preference for Rod Harris in these situations. They've split him far, far right.
Blitz. Osgood gets outside. He needs a block, and he tries to throw it, and he was tackled. It'll be incomplete. And OSU holds on down. Sim Drain, the 3rd, crashed in from his linebacker position and forced Osgood outside.
Osgood was rolling toward Harris. Harris was running it down and out. Then Drain closes.
Well, they haven't stopped him tonight, have they?
No. And another Aggie possession literally goes down the drain.
A&M with 4 turnovers. OSU has played a perfect game tonight. No penalties, no turnovers for the Cowboys. 3:21 left to play in this period.
I have a feeling the Aggies are going to see the tailback a little more here.
Gundy looks like a broken play. And a good tackle by Terry Price. He came crashing inside. It looked like when Gundy turned to hand the ball off, his backs had gone the other way. He loses 5 on the play.
Dykes carries the play in from the bench.
Well, you got to watch that Hartley Dykes. He's caught 5 passes for 122 yards, and we're still in the first half.
Bill, he didn't even slow down as he came through the huddle. I don't know if he brought the play in or not, quite honestly. Oops.
Fumble. The ball is down, and Sanders fell on it. Again, Gundy and Sanders had trouble on the handoff, and Basil Jackson almost got in there between them.
Something's happened 2 plays in a row there where there was confusion over where the runner was going to be.
Well, you said he ran through the huddle. That he may have forgotten the play by the time he got there. You know, that happens sometimes.
Oh, yes.
A coach will tell a player the play. By the time he gets to the huddle, he forgot what it was. Gundy's checking it right now, saying, I'm going to call my own play.
They only have 7 seconds to snap the ball.
You better hurry and do it. Down to 5 and 2 minutes left to play. Gets it off with 1 second left. This time he hands it to the up back. limbrick, but there was a flag, and I think it may have been illegal procedure. Somebody moved for OSU. Terry Price on the tackle. Offensive line coach.
Now listen, we got to go back in, be ready for Okie stuff.
Defensive coordinator, Dana Batiste, having the option explained to him, and he'll certainly turn this down. And of course, we're going to get to see Kerry Blanchard punt.
Well, he is doing the dual duty. Field goal kicker. Not punting exceptionally well this year. In the first game against Miami of Ohio, he had 4 kicks for only 32 yards.
The Aggies' problem here is the clock ticks down to 1:45 is they have no timeouts left in the half. So they can't stop the clock anymore this half.
Rod Harris back at about the 42-yard line. Blanchard standing right on his 2. High snap by Jones, and he gets it off, and it's not going to be very far. And it takes an A&M bounce. So the Aggies get a break with 1:25 left to play in the first half. A&M, the ball on the 42-yard line, and a flag is down.
See what we got here was illegal procedure. Oh, that'll be declined. A&M will take the short punt.
A&M needs that short punt. That ball only traveled 25 yards. And if we found the weakness in this OSU team, it may be in the punting game.
Yeah, if you can only force him to punt more than once a half.
If he does that the rest of the year, I don't think they're going to be in trouble, are they, Norm?
No, but again, now there's 1:25 to go in the half. An A&M touch would get this thing back to 24. I know this sounds like we're trying to keep you here to watch the second half, but the Aggies sure have moved the football to have only 7 points on the board.
Too many turnovers, 4 to be exact, and some costly penalties. Osgood.
Oops.
Oh, my goodness. The referee goes down. We'll give him the count.
Oh, my.
Did you see the longest yard?
Yes. Oh, my.
Oh. That will be on everybody's highlight film this year. You can bet.
Everybody's.
Second down and a painful 10 yards to go for the Aggies.
Nice stop, though.
Yes. I don't think he was the intended receiver. Horton inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line. The Aggies need to hurry. No timeouts left. 1:08, clock running. Lowry on the tackle for OSU.
Oh, my. That play's still a beauty, isn't it?
Fumble. And Osgood gets on top of the football. Again, another A&M mistake.
The problem now is the clock continues to run, and the Aggies have to get a first down. Now it's 4th down.
4th down, the Aggies. I thought it may have been 3rd. Is it 4th? Yes, it is 4th down. 7 needed. Osgood. And he underthrows it. OSU will get the ball with 32 seconds left. It was intended for Rod Harris. Underthrown by Chris Osgood.
And OSU gets the ball with 32 seconds to go, right near their 40-yard line and 3 timeouts left. I mean, OSU, if they so choose to, might even think of going for more. Goodness gracious, what a night throwing the ball.
The explosiveness of Mike Gundy, Barry Sanders, Hartley Dykes, and Oklahoma State. 32 seconds left to play. First half. OSU in a tight formation. And that should be the final play. They may have to run one more, however. Well, stay with us again at halftime. Norm, you're going to have some highlights of scores from around the country today.
Yeah, have a full sportscast here at halftime with a lot of collegiate scores, baseball scores, and some Olympic news.
We'll have the Fighting Texas Aggie Band, and we'll be talking to John David Crow, the Associate Athletic Director of Texas A&M. Boy, it's been a big first half for Mike Gundy and Oklahoma State as they go to the locker room, leading the Texas Aggies 38-7.